शुक्लांबरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। अगजानन पद्मार्कं गजाननमहर्निशम् अनेकदन्तं भक्तानाम् एकदन्तमुपास्महे। श्रीमहागणपतये नमः। गुरवे सर्वलोकानां पिशजे भवरोगिणां निधये सर्वविद्यानां श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। अस्मद्गुरुचरणारविन्दाभ्यां नमः। वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं। ज्ञानानन्दमयं देवं निर्मलस्फटिकाकृतिम् आधारं सर्वविद्यानां श्रीहयग्रीवमुपास्महे। श्रीहयग्रीवमूर्तये नमः। सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणि विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा। श्रीमहासरस्वत्यै नमः। उमाकोमलहस्ताब्ज सम्भावितललाटकं हिरण्यकुण्डलं वन्दे कुमारं पुष्करस्वजं। வெற்றிவேல் முருகனுக்கு ஹரஹரோஹரா. லோகவீரியம் மகாபூஜ்யம் சர்வரக்ஷாகரம் விபும் பார்வதி ஹிருதயானந்தம் சாஸ்தாரம் பிரணமாம்யகம். சுவாமியே சரணமையப்பா. वागर्ताविव सम्पृक्तौ वागर्तप्रतिपत्तये जगतः पितरौ वन्दे पार्वती परमेश्वरौ। श्रीपार्वती परमेश्वराभ्यां नमः। कोमलं पूजयन् वेणुं श्यामलोऽयं कुमारकः वेदवेद्यं परब्रह्मा तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। अस्मद्गुरुचरणारविन्दाभ्यां नमः। श्रीकृष्ण गोविन्द हरे मुरारे श्रीनाथ नारायण वासुदेव। श्रीकृष्ण गोविन्द हरे मुरारे श्रीनाथ नारायण वासुदेव। श्रीकृष्ण गोविन्द हरे मुरारे श्रीनाथ नारायण वासुदेव। पीताम्बरं करविराजितचक्रशङ्खकौमोदकी सरसिजं करुणासमुद्रं राधासहायम् अतिसुन्दरमन्दहासं वातालयेशम् अनिशं हृदि भावयामि। कृष्णो रक्षतु मां चराचरगुरुः कृष्णं नमस्ये सदा। कृष्णेनैव सुरक्षितोऽहमसकृत् कृष्णाय दत्तं मनः। कृष्णादेव समुद्भवो मम विभो कृष्णस्य दासोऽस्म्यहम्। कृष्णे भक्तिरचञ्चलास्तु भगवन् हे कृष्ण तुभ्यं नमः। श्रीगुरुवायूरप्पा शरणं नम्राणां सन्निधत्ते सततमपि पुरस्तैरणभ्यर्थितानपि आर्तान् कामानजस्रं वितरति परमानन्दसान्द्रां गतिं च। इत्थं निःशेषलभ्यो निरवधिकफलः पारिजातो हरे त्वं क्षुद्रं तं शक्रवाटी ध्रुममभिलषति व्यर्थमर्त्यव्रजोऽयम्। श्रीगुरुवायूरप्पा शरणं श्रीभट्टपादम् अनिशं हृदि भावयामि। वंशी विभूषितकरात् नवनीरदाभात् पीताम्बरात् अरुणबिम्बफलादरोष्टात् पूर्णेन्दुसुन्दरमुखात् अरविन्दनेत्रात् कृष्णात् परं किमपि तत्त्वमहं न जाने। കൈരണ്ടും കൂപ്പി ഞാൻ വീണ്ടുമീറക്കുന്നു നീരജലോചന നിന്നോടായി. ഏതീനു മഞ്ഞനെ കുമ്പിടേണ്ട തോറും രീതിയിൽ നീ എന്നെ പാലിക്കന്നായി. കൃഷ്ണ ഹരേ ജയ കൃഷ്ണ ഹരേ ജയ കൃഷ്ണ ഹരേ ജയ കൃഷ്ണ ഹരേ. Good morning, everyone. Okay, so I think we have a limited attendance right now, but we'll get started. We'll get going. We'll skip the review, but we'll start with the fifth stanza, right, on 881. Okay. Rather, you can be a student, and Ratiji can be a student first off. So we had to do stanza 5, right? We did 4, and we had to start with 5, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Stanza 5. पार्थाधैरप्यकृतलवनं तोयमात्राभिलक्ष्यं Laksham chitva saparamavritah Lakshmana madrakanya Ashtavevam tava samabhavan vallabhastatra madhye Shushrodatvam surapatigira Bhaumaduscheshtitani. So in the last class, we kind of saw, first we had seen the marriage between Krishna and Rukmini, and then we saw about with, with Satyabhama, then we saw with Jambavati, right, that we had seen in 80. And then in 81, we saw with, Kalindi, third, Mitravinda, fourth, then Nagnajiti, and then Bhadra, right? So it kind of it comes to adds up to 7. So Rukmini, Jambavati, Satyabhama, Kalindi, Mitravinda, Satya or Nagnajiti, and Bhadra, right? We have seen the 7. So here is the 8th one. So I think at that time, just like how it happened with Draupadi Swayamvaram, where Arjuna had to shoot at an arrow of a fish which was actually spinning, right? So that was like a test that people had to do. So even for Lakshmana, it said it was an even tougher thing because it was so like Arjuna had to do it by looking at the reflection in water and then hitting the arrow. But somehow in this case, they're saying the Lakshmana's one was even more harder that even Arjuna could not do it. So Parthadher apya kritalavanam. Even Arjuna also could not hit that fish. It was that hard of a contest. Something very similar, but a little bit more complicated, maybe, right? Maybe it was moving and all that stuff. Doesn't, but anyway. So, but however, Krishna, you went and, you hit that, and with that, you then got to marry Lakshmana, who is the daughter of the king of Madra. So anyway, it was all predetermined, doesn't matter. So 8, so that with this Krishna then gets 8 wives, right, who he marries. So that was the time when he then hears about this evil person called Narakasura, who's the son of the Bhuma Devi. So that's why it's Bhauma is his name. Narakasura is an Asura, and he treats things like hell. So he's called Narakasura, right? But his actual name is Bhauma because he's the son of Bhumi Devi. So that's where that Bhauma name is coming. So that Bhauma is troubling Indra. And what he does is Indra's mother, Aditi, has some special jewelry, some special earring. We don't know what that special about it is, but it is something special. So this Narakasura or Bhauma has gone and taken that. So Indra then approaches Krishna and says, this Narakasura is like, I need help from you to recover that. Plus, he's been doing a lot of atrocities, like he has a lot of women in hostage and everything. So you have to go and help. So Krishna gets that message. So Parthadhyir apyakrita you can break at the tra, comma, toya matrabhilaksham, comma, laksham chitva Safaram avritaha. You add a visarga, you won't have it there. Safaram avritaha, comma, Lakshmanam madra kanyam. Parthadhirapyakrita toyamatrabhilaksham laksham chitva safaram avritaha Lakshmanam madra kanyam.
पार्थाधैर अपकृत्य लवनं तोयमात्राभिलक्ष्यं लक्ष्मं चित्वा शपरममृता लक्षणा अवृताः लक्षणां मद्रकान्याम्.
And the last Lakshmanam. Lakshanamala. Her name is Lakshmana. So Lakshmanam.
Okay, I'll correct that. இங்க லக்ஷணா இருக்குது.
Okay, Lakshmana, that's the name.
Lakshmanam.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Parthadhyirapyakrutalavanam toyamatrabhilaksham laksham chitva shaparamavృతాः Lakshmanam madrakanyam.
पार्थाद्यैरप्यकृतलवनं तोयमात्राभिलक्ष्यं लक्ष्यं चित्वा अवृताः, right?
Avृताः.
लक्ष्यं चित्वा सफरमवृताः लक्ष्मणां मद्रकन्यां. पार्थाद्यैरप्यकृतलवनं तोयमात्राभिलक्ष्यं लक्ष्यं चित्वा सफरमवृताः Lakshmanam Madrakanyam.
I'll ask a question to see if any of you can answer the difference. What is it? How come Rama's brother is also called Lakshmana and she's also called Lakshmana? How is the same name for both male
That
and
is what I was about to ask you. Here, how come Lakshmana comes, sir?
Yeah. So in Sanskrit, a male, when they say sir in a text, when they say sir did this, the sir refers to the male who's in that subject. Okay. When they say sa, it refers to the female who's in the subject. So Rama's brother is Lakshmana. Okay, not Lakshmana. Here, Lakshmanam. Okay, so it's a double A at the end. So the A is getting added at the end. It becomes a female name.
Akarantaha. That is why it is a Shilingam. Okay.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
So that's why Lakshmana and Lakshmanam im is coming because it is kind of because you are taking whose name was Lakshmana, right? So that because of that im is coming, but actually her name is Lakshmana, and you're right, Radha. It's also called, her name is also Lakshana is also the name. So both are technically correct, but we'll keep it to Lakshmana to be consistent. Okay.
Anyways, who is she?
So she's one of the king and the Madra, one of the daughters, the daughter of a king of Madra, a region. So I don't know his previous, like who she was, why she is getting married, but there must be some reason, but that is not available, But must be some special person because otherwise she wouldn't get married to Krishna in this incarnation, right? So there should be some reason why she's getting married, which he doesn't come much about her.
So she also gets married to Krishna, isn't it?
Yeah, 8 of them. Like we said, the 8 names I gave, right? All 8 of them, yeah.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Ashtavevam tava samabhavan vallabhas tatra madhye. So that's continuous line, comma. Shushroda tvam surapati gira, comma. Bhauma duscheshti tani, short e. Ashtavevam tava samabhavan vallabhastatra madhye शुश्रोदत्वं सुरपतिगिरा भौमदुश्चेष्टितानि
अष्टावेवं तव समभवन् वल्लभास्तत्र मध्ये शुश्रोतत्वं सुरपतिगिरा भौमदुश्चेष्टितानि अष्टावेवं तव समभवन् वल्लभास्तत्र मध्ये शुश्रोत्रत्वं सुरपतिगिरा भौमदुश्चेष्टितानि
अष्टावेवं तव समभवन् वल्लभास्तत्र मध्ये शुश्रोथत्वं सुरपतिगिरा भौमदुश्चेष्टितानि अष्टावेवं तव समभवन् वल्लभास्तत्र मध्ये शुश्रोथत्वं सुरपतिगिरा भौमदुश्चेष्टितानि.
Answer 6. Smrita yatam pakshe pravaramadiruಢस्त्वमगमो वहन्नङ्के भावाम् उपवनमिवाराति भवनम् बिबिन्धन् दुर्गाणि त्रुटितपृतनाशोणितरसैः पुरं तावत् प्राग्ज्योतिषम् अकुरुताशोणितपुरम्. So when Krishna comes to know from Indra, help is asked, right? Saying, I really need you to go and get that whatever he has, that Narakasura Bhauma has. At the same time, get rid of Bhauma because he's been tormenting everybody, right? So at that time, whenever Krishna wants, Garuda is going to come. So that's why it comes. The moment you thought, Smrita Yatam, just you thinking has Garuda coming and waiting for you. Now, to this battle, Krishna is going and he's also going with Satyabhama sitting on his lap, right? We'll see why Satyabhama is going to the battle, right? Much later. It'll come later on. I'll explain to you that context. But for some of you, you might have seen it, when I was growing, my grandparents, my mother's parents, they actually had a picture of Garuda with Krishna sitting and Satyabhama sitting on his lap. So there is a picture. You can just Google that. Maybe you'll get it. That was a very old picture, but I know the picture was there. So that's a very special picture, right? Anyway, so Krishna and Satyabhama are going to battle Narakasura, right? Or Bhauma. So first you go there, and this is in a place called Pragjyotisham. I don't know where that place is, whether it is even in the earth or if it is in some other world, we don't know that. But he goes to that place called Pragjyotisham, and there first Krishna goes, and then he destroys all the surrounding fort and everything. Just Krishna is going, no army or anybody. And then he first goes and destroys all the fortifications which are around that place. Smrita yatam, comma, pakshi pravaram adirudhas twamagamo, comma, vahananke bhamam. So the mu that is there, we're going to break it. First put a im, bhamam, comma. The next one, this will start with u. Upavanam ivarati bhavanam. If you want to break it, you can break it Upavanam ivarati bhavanam.
In my book, it says Vasannanken. Vasannanke.
Okay, just change it to Vahan Anke.
Vasan.
I don't know, your books in the book. I'm curious what book yours is. Yours has a lot of the other versions of it, you know.
No, Kannada. Some
Kannada, okay.
letters are like this thing.
Okay.
95%, 98% it is good.
Yeah. I think some words it might be different. Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, letters. Vasantanken.
Yeah. The print sometimes, right? Smrita yatam pakshe pravaramadiruಢಸ್ತ್ವಮಗಮೋ vahannanke bhamam upavanamivarati bhavanam.
Smrutayatam pakshipravaramadhiruಢಸ್ತ್ವಮಗಮೋ vahannanke bhamam upavana mivarati pavanam. Smrutayatam pakshipravaramadhiruಢಸ್ತ್ವಮಗಮೋ vahannanke bhama upavanamivarati pavanam.
And the second line after bhamam there is a comma. Okay, vahananke bhamam, comma.
Bhamam upavana.
Smrutayatam pakshipravaramadhiruಢस्त्वमगमो vahannange bhamam upavanamivarati bhavanam. Smrutayatam pakshipravaramadhiruಢस्त्वमगमो vahannange bhamam upavanamivarati bhavanam.
Bibhindan durgani trutita pritana shonita rasaihi, comma, puram tavat pragjyotisham. Okay, so that ma we're going to break it, put a im, pragjyotisham, comma. Next word will start with the a. Akurutaha, put a ish to join, akurutash shonitapuram. Vibhindan durgani trutita pritana shonita rasaihi puram tavat pragjyotisham akuruta shonitapuram.
Vipindam durgani trutita pritanaashonita puram tavat pragjyotisham akurutaha shonitapuram.
And akurutaha ishadu, akurutash shonitapuram.
Anga plus ada.
And the ish, there's visarga, you put a ish to join, that's it. Yeah.
Okay. Vibindan durgani trutita pritanaashonita puram tavat pragjyotisham akurta shonitapuram.
Vipindran durgani trutita pritana shonita rasaihi puram tavat pragjyotisham akuruthas shonitapuram. Viphindan durgani trutita pritana shonita rasaihi puram tavat pragjyotisham akuruthas shonitapuram.
Stanza 7. Murastvam panchasyo jaladhivanamadhyadudapatate sachakre chakrena pradalita shiramangshu bhavata chaturdantai dantabalapatibirindhana samaram ratangena chitva narakamakaroostirna narakam. So first, after Krishna destroys all the fortification, the first person he has to battle is one of the commanders of Bhauma. His person's name is Mura. So there is a detailed description because this Mura is extremely strong. So that's so Krishna gets the name Murari. One of the name Krishna has is because the one who got rid of Mura. Okay, this Mura is one of the biggest commanders of Narakasura or Bhauma. So there's a big battle because this Mura is a very famous or a very strong person, right? So anyway, so Krishna gets rid of Mura. So next, when Krishna has gotten rid of Mura, now Bhauma figures that time has come for him to battle. So he then comes out with an elephant which has got Chatur Dantai, which has got 4 tusks, right? So he's coming out of the 4-tusked elephant. That's what he's coming with. And then he's, of course, Bhauma is extremely powerful. Now the question comes is, why is Satyabhama coming with Krishna for this battle, right? Because it's Krishna who always battles, right? And Lakshmi or any of these devis normally come only to bless. But in this case, the reason Bhauma is coming, Satyabhama is coming, is because this Bhauma, Narakasura, has gotten a boon from Brahma, right? Saying that, everybody asks for immortality, right? By default, right? And then they all get that declined, saying, okay, I cannot give you immortality, but you can give conditions under which you can be killed. So one of the conditions that Bhauma has is that my mother has to say that I should be killed. Because he says, why will a mother tell a son has to be killed? That will never happen, right? So he says, that's the boon. When my mother says I can be killed, then I can be killed, right? So now this Satyabhama is an incarnation of Bhudevi, because Mahalakshmi, Bhudevi, Nila Devi, all of these are like permanent consorts of Mahavishnu, right? So when Mahavishnu gets an incarnation, they all also come down to incarnate along with it. So that's why I said, all these other 8 women who Krishna married, all of them are some incarnations of some consorts of Mahavishnu, right? Otherwise, they wouldn't be with Krishna in this incarnation. So anyway, so the Satyabhama is an incarnation of Bhudevi, the mother earth, right? So that Bhudevi is the mother of Narakasura or Bhauma. So anyway, it's a little bit convoluted. Doesn't mean Narakasura is the son of Krishna. You can't literally think of it that way because this all happens over multiple yugams and all of that stuff, right? So because she is incarnation, when Narakasura and Bhauma and Krishna are having a battle, then Krishna gets hit. So at that time, Krishna acts as if, he's not able to fight back. So at that time, Satyabhama says, what are you waiting for? Get rid of Narakasura. Get rid of that Bhauma, right? So because now his own mother is telling to get rid of him, then Krishna is able to get rid of him. Otherwise, he has a boon from Brahma, right? So anyway, under that conditions, which have to be perfect. So with that, Krishna eventually, with your Sudarshana Chakram, you get rid of Bhauma or Narakasura. And then he gets liberated because, he's some people will get liberated and these Narakasura is one of them who then gets liberated. That's why it says at the end, Narakam akaros tirna Narakam. So one who is Narakam referring to Narakasura here, he is able to get over the hell, which means he gets liberated and goes to Vaikuntham. So Murastwam Panchasyo, Jaladhi Vana Madhyad Udapatate, Sa Chakre Chakrena Pradalita Shira Mangshu Bhavata. So that second line is continuous. Murastwam Panchasyo Jaladhivana Madhyadudapatate Sachakre Chakrena Pradalita Shira Mangshu Bhavata.
Murastvam Panchasyo Jaladina Madhyadupatate Sachakre Chakrena Pradalita Shira Mangshu Bhavata. Murastvam Panchasyo Jaladi Nava Madhyadu Dudapatate Sachakre Chakrena Pradalita Shira Mangshu Bhavata.
Brother, on the first line, Jaladi Vana Madhyad Udapatati. You said Nava, you switched those 2 letters.
Jaladi Vana.
Yeah, Jaladi Vana Madhyad Udapatati.
Okay. Jaladi Vana Madhyad Udapatati.
Murastvam Panchasyo Jalathivana Madhyad Udapatata Sachakre Chakrena Pradalita Shira Mangshu Bhavata. मुरस्त्वां पञ्चास्यो जलधिवनमध्यादुदपतत सचक्रे चक्रेण प्रदलितगिरामंशुभवता
Chatur Dantair Dantavala Patibhir Indana Samaram. You can break that Patibhir if you want to. Patibhir Indana Samaram. So that line is continuous, comma. Ratangena Chitwa, comma. Narakam Akaros Tirna Narakam. Chatur Dantair Dantavalapatibhirindhana Samaram Ratangena Chitwa Narakam Tirna Narakam.
चतुर्दन्तैर्दन्ता वलपतिभिरान्धान समरं रथाङ्गेन चित्वा नरकमकरोस्तीर्न नरकम् चतुर्दन्तैर्दन्ता वलपतिभिरान्धान समरं रथाङ्गेन चित्वा नरकमकरोस्तीर्न नरकम्
चतुर्दन्तैर्दन्ताबलपतिभिर्इन्धान समरं रथाङ्गेन छित्त्वा नरकमगरोस्तीर्न नरकम् चतुर्दन्तैर्दन्तावलयपतिभिर्इन्धान समरं रथाङ्गेन छित्त्वा नरकमकरोस्तीर्न नरकम्
That's it. Stuto bhumya rajyam sapadi bhagadatte syadanaye gajanchaikam dattva prajighaita naghan nijapurim kalena bhaddhanam swagata manasam shodasha punas sahasrani strinam apicha dhanarashim cha vipulam. So then this big stuti that is done by Bhumi Devi to Krishna because he got rid of Narakasura eventually and cleansed a lot of things. So and then Krishna then gets that specific earring or jewel. I don't know what's the significance of that, but it is something important, right? Which was Indra's mother's earring, which Narakasura had taken. So he gets that, and then he also Narakasura had kept hostage 16,000 women. Now, the 16,000 women are women of all ages, right? There are people who are really old. There are people who are really young. So it doesn't matter. It was all age, and they were all held hostage by Narakasura. So, and they were all kind of waiting for the chance to, be freed, right? So at that time, Krishna, because he gets rid of Narakasura, and then he frees those 16,000 women. We'll see what happens to them later, but he frees those 16,000 women, and then eventually he establishes Narakasura's son Bhagadatta as the king of that area because he's a nice guy. And so he kind of cleans up that place, gets rid of Narakasura, Mura, all of these people, and whoever is proper, he then establishes that kingdom, and then Krishna returns back to Dwaraka along with the 16,000 women. Stuto bhumya, rajyam sapadi Bhagadattesya tanaye, that Bhagadatta is Narakasura's son, Bhagadattesya tanaye, gajan chaikam dattva, prajigayitha nagan nijapurim. Stuto bhumya rajyam sapadi Bhagadattesya tanaye, gajan chaikam dattva prajigayitha nagan nijapurim.
Prajigayita. Stuto bhumya rajyam sapadi bhagadattesya tanaye gajam chaikam dattva prajigayita nagani janpurim. Stuto bhumyam rajyam sapadi bhagadattesya tanaye gajam chaikam dattva prajigayita nagani janpurim.
स्तुतो भूम्या राज्यं सपति भगवद्दत्तेस्य तनये गजं चैकं दत्त्वा प्रजिघयित नागनिजपुरीं स्तुतो भूम्या राज्यं सपदि भगदत्तेस्य तनये गजं चैकं दत्त्वा प्रजिघयित नागनिजपुरीं
Halena Baddhanam, double there, Baddhanam, Swagata Manasam Shodasha Punaha, which is there, you put a is and join that next line, because punaha means again. So shodasha is 16. 16 again, sahasrani, 1000. So 16,000, right? So shodasha punas sahasrani strinam apicha, and then a comma. So third line, comma after baddhanam, then the whole line together. Fourth line after sahasrani strinam apicha, comma, dhana rashim cha vipulam. खलेनाबद्धानां स्वगतमनसां षोडश पुनः सहस्राणि स्त्रीणामपि च धनराशिं च विपुलम्.
कलेनाबद्धानां स्वगतमनसां षोडश पुनः सहस्राणि स्त्रीणाम् अपि च धनराशिं च विपुलम्.
स्त्रीणामपि च, and then comma there.
स्त्रीणामपि च, अपि च.
Yeah, after that,
right? अपि च.
After that, comma, yeah.
Okay. कलेनाबद्धानां स्वगतमनसां षोडश पुनः सहस्राणि स्त्रीणाम् अपि च धनराशिं च विपुलम्.
कलेनाबद्धानां स्वगतमनसां षोडश पुनः सहस्राणि स्त्रीणामपि च धनराशिं च विपुलम्. खलेनाबद्धानां स्वगतमनसां षोडश पुनः सहस्राणि स्त्रीणामपि च धनराशिं च विपुलम्.
भौमापाहृतकुण्डलं.
Very sorry to interrupt, Rajeshji. It is Punahas, right?
Punaha is there, right?
Punahas Sahasrani, correct?
And the visarga will become a is. So punas sahasrani.
Punas Sahasrani. Okay,
Yeah.
got it. Thank you.
That's a nine. Bhaumapahritakundalam tadadite datum prayato divam shakraadhirmahitas samam daitaya dyustrishu datta hriya hritva kalpatarum rushabhipatitam jitvendram abhyagamah tattu shrimadadosha idrisha iti vyakyatumeva kritaha. So Krishna, along with Satyabhama, they go to Indraloka, they go to Swargaloka to give Indra that specific jewel, which was his mother Aditi's jewel, which was taken by Bhauma, by Narakasura. And then Indra then gets happy. So at that time, when they go there, Satyabhama wants that Parijata tree, which is there in Indra's gardens, right? So Indra, that it says here, Tattu Shri Mada Dosha. It says anytime you get prosperous, there is a madam which generates inside of you. You feel very powerful. You feel very strong. That you forget your roots, they say, right? They say, don't forget your roots, right? So when Indra becomes very powerful, and now he has also gotten this thing back, he somehow forgets who was the person who got him that. So when Satyabhama goes and asks, I need that Parijata tree, Indra refuses to give it. Right, saying, I'm not going to give it to you, right, to Krishna. So anyway, there's a little bit of conversation that happens. Eventually, he gives that Parijata tree, which is what eventually comes and Krishna puts it up in Satyabhama's house in Dwaraka, right? So anyway, so with that arrogance which Indra has, which is take care of, and then Krishna and Satyabhama return back to Dwaraka, and then they put that Parijata tree in Satyabhama's garden. Bhauma Pahrita Kundalam, comma, Tadadither Datum Prayato Divam, comma, Shakradhyair Mahitaha, put is to join, Mahitas Samam Daitaya, comma, Dyustrishu Dattahriya. Bhauma Kundalam Tadaditer Datum Prayato Divam Shakradhyair Mahitas Samam Daitaya Dyustrishu Dattahriya.
Bhaumapavritakundalam tadati datur prayato divam shakradhyairmahitas samam daitaya dyusrishu datta kriya. Bhaumapavritakundalam tadati datur prayato divam shakradhyairmahitas samam daitaya dyusrishu datta kriya.
Bhaumapahritakundalam तददितेर्दातुं प्रायतो दिवं शक्राद्यैर्महितः समं दयितया दुस्त्रीषु दत्तह्रिया भौमापाहृतकुण्डलं तददितेर्दातुं प्रयातो दिवं प्रायतो प्रयातो
Prayato Devam.
प्रयातो दिवं शक्राद्यैर्महितः समं दयितया दुस्त्रीषु दत्तह्रिया
Kritva Kalpatarum, comma, Rushabhipatitam, Jitvendram. You can break it that ma if you want. Jitvendram Abhyagamaha. So put a visarga and comma in that line. Abhyagamaha. Next line, if it starts with the is, you remove it off. Tattu Shri Mada Dosha Idrisha Iti, comma, Vyakyatum Eva Kritaha. You can break it that ma. Vyakyatum Eva Kritaha. Kritva Kalpatarum Rushabhipatitam Chitvendramabhyagamaha Tattu Shri Mada Dosha Idrisha Iti Vyakyatumeva Kritaha.
कृत्वा कल्पतरुं वृषाभिपतितं जित्वेन्द्रमभ्यागमः तत्तु श्रीमददोष ईदृश इति व्याख्यातुमेवाकृताः कृत्वा कल्पतरुं वृषाभिपतितं जित्वेन्द्रमभ्यागमः तत्तु श्रीमददोष ईदृश इति व्याख्यातुमेवाकृताः
कृत्वा कल्पतरुं वृषाभिपतितं जित्वेन्द्रमभ्यागमः तत्तु श्रीमददोष ईदृश इति व्याख्यातुमेवाकृताः कृत्वा कल्पतरुं वृषाभिपतितं जित्वेन्द्रमभ्यागमः तत्तु श्रीमददोष ईदृश इति व्याख्यातुमेवाकृताः.
That's it. Kalpadrum Satyabhama Bhavana Bhuvi Srijan Dvyashta Sahasrayoshaha Swikritya Pratyagaram Vihita Bahuva Pullalayan Keli Bedaihi Ashcharya Naradhalokita Vivida Gatihi Tatra Tatrapi Gehe Bhuya Sarvasu Kurvan Dasha Dashatanayan Pahi Vatalahesha. So now he plants that Kalpadrum Satyabhama. He plants that tree in Satyabhama's house in compound. So that is taken care of. Next, the 16,000 women who have actually come there. See, they have been held as hostages, right? And now Krishna has like saved them. So what is going to happen to them, right? So when they say Krishna, you are marrying them, that's because it's to give them protection, right? So Krishna then marries them. So it gives them an opportunity to become Sayujya Margam. They must have done some punyam in the previous several births, because of which they attain that Sayujya Margam with Krishna, right? They get in union with Krishna. We don't know, I don't know what the history of the 16,000 women are. But anyway, so you then marry all the 16,000 women so that they have a shelter. And then once, like Narada visits, because he's also curious how this Krishna's Leela is going, because Krishna, you're married to 16,008 women. How are you managing them, right? So Narada visits Dwaraka and he goes to each of the houses. And every house he goes, Tatra Tatrapi Gehe. Every house you go, you see Krishna in each of those houses. Right? So Narada is also amazing, like this is like the height of your Leela, like anywhere you go, everybody is equally taken care of. So there's no importance of this one is number one or this one is number two. Everybody is equal. And it says everybody gets 10 sons also. Now, we have to be careful when we are explaining this because Krishna is still a brahmachari. Because in the end of Mahabharata, when one of the situation comes where Kunti will say, whoever is a brahmachari can go and do something. I forget the exact episode. So at the time, Krishna is the one who will actually come and do it, right? So when we says he gives 10 children, you cannot think of it in the human sense, right? Of how children are made. But anyway, he gives them because the Yadava clan becomes so big and then they become so opulent and they become so powerful and they reach the height of that prosperity. And anytime you reach the height of prosperity, you are bound to come down. That's what results in the clash between the Yadavas and the entire Yadava clan getting destroyed at the very end, right? But for that, the clan is growing because they become the most powerful clan on the world, right? Even stronger than the Kauravas and everybody. So they decide not to participate in Mahabharata because they could tilt the equation depending on which side they actually participate to some extent, right? So not everybody participates. Anyway, so with that, all the 16,000 women are given shelter, and then this chapter comes to an end. So like I said, over Dashakam 80 and 81, right, this 79 Rukmini Swayamvaram happens, and between these two, the other 16,007. So Kalpadhrum Satyabhama Bhavana Bhuvi Srijan, Dveshta Sahasra Yoshaha. Dveshta referring to Dvi Ashta, 2 times 8, so 16. So Dveshta Sahasra Yoshaha, Swikritya Pratyagaram Vihita Bahu Vapur Lalayan Keli Bhedaihi. So second line is continuous. Kalpadhrum Satyabhama Bhavana Bhuvi Srijan Dveshtasahasrayoshaha Swikritya Pratyagaram Vihita Bahuvapurlalayan Keli Bhedai.
Kalpadrum Satyabhama Bhavana Bhavisrujan Dvayas Dashta Sahasrayoshaha Swikritya Pratyagaram Vihita Bahu Vapulalayan Kelipedhyaihi. அது எல்லாம் ஒரே வாட்டி சொல்லணும், right?
Yeah, as much as possible, that whole line is together.
Okay. Okay. Kalpadrum Satyabhama Bhavana Bhavisrujan Dveshtasahasrayoshaha Swikritya Pratyagaram Vihita Bahurvapulalayan Kelipedhyaihi.
Kelibedhaihi.
Kelibedhyaihi. Sorry. Bedaihi. Yeah. Mindla irundhathu solrேன்.
Kalpadrum Satyabhama Bhavana Bhuvisrujan Dvashtasahasrayoshaha Swikritya Pratyagaram Vihita Bahuvapur Lalayan Keli Bhedaihi. Kalpadrum Satyabhama Bhavana Bhuvisrujan Dvashtasahasrayoshaha Swikritya Pratyagaram Vihita Bahuvapur Lalayan Keli Bhedaihi.
Ascharyan Naradalokita Vividha Gatihi. So that is there. Remove it. Put a visarga comma Gatihi. Tatra Tatrapi Gehe comma Bhuyaha. Put a is Bhuyas Sarvasu Kurvan Dasha Tanayan comma Pahi Vatalayesha. Ascharyan Naradalokita Vividha Gatihi Tatra Tatrapi Gehe Bhuyas Sarvasu Kurvan Dasha Tanayan Pahi Vatalayesha.
Ascharyan Naradalokita Vividha Gatihi Tatra Tatrapi Gehe Bhuyas Sarvasu Kurvan Dasha Tanayan Pahi Vatalayesha. Ascharyan Naradalokita Vividha Gatihi Tatra Tatrapi Gehe Bhuyas Sarvasu Kurvan Dasha Tanayan Pahi Vatalayesha.
And the first line the Naradalokita.
எப்படி அது சொல்றது?
I think you said Naradalokita. You said it's Naradalokita.
In a difference irka meaningla?
Yeah, because it's Narada Alokita, 2 different words. So the akaram has to come there. Ascharyan Naradalokita.
So there is a mention of Narada here, right?
Yeah, but the next word, just say just the first portion again.
Ascharyan Naradalokita Vividha Gatihi.
Yeah, you said it correct this time.
Okay. So there, and the Alokita has to come with Narada.
Correct. Yeah.
Ascharya Naradalokita Vividha Gatihi Tatra Tatrapi Gehe Bhuyas Sarvasu Kurvan Dasha Tanayan Pahi Vatalayesha. Ascharya Naradalokita Vividha Gatihi Tatra Tatrapi Gehe भूयः सर्वासु कुर्वन् दश दश तनयान् पाहि वातालयेषा.
Shri Krishnaya Parabrahmane Namaha. Go to Dasakam 82. Bana Yuddham Nriga Moksham Cha. This is like one of those, again, all these chapters from now, it's like are pretty like lot of content, right, which is there. But of course, Bhattaripad has shrunk it down to summarize it. But it'll be fun. We'll take time. We are not in a hurry, so we'll kind of get into some of the background meaning as well here. So stanza 1. प्रद्युम्नो रौक्मिनेयः स खलु तपकलः शम्भरेणाहृतस्तम् हत्वा रत्या सहाप्तो निजपुरमहरत् रुक्मिकन्यां च धन्याम् तत्पुत्रो तानिरुद्धो गुणनिधिरवहत् रोचनां रुक्मिपौत्रीं तत्रोद्वाहे गतस्त्वं न्यवदिमुसलिना रुक्म्यपि द्यूतवैरात्. So a lot of things, condensed in this one stanza, right? So Krishna and, for Rukmini, right? We'll start from that, right? Krishna and Rukmini, they have a son. A son is born to them. Son's name is Pradyumna. Now, when this Pradyumna was a 6-day-old baby, just 6 days old, right? He's actually abducted by a demon called Sambara. Don't know why. The Sambara abducts him and throws Pradyumna into the sea. Now, what happens is, it's a very interesting story here, right? That in the sea, because it's Pradyumna, he cannot die, right? So what happens is, a fish or a massive fish swallows Pradyumna. This fish gets caught by a fisherman. And the fisherman catches that fish and goes and gives it to another king. Right? This Bhauma, another king is the Bhana. He goes and gives this king called Bhana that to the cook who's there. The cook who's there in that king Bhana, that person is is called Mayavati. That's the name, right? So that Mayavati, then what she does is she then cuts open the fish. When she cuts open the fish, the belly of the fish, the baby is still alive. That Pradyumna is still alive. So she's surprised. It must have been a big fish, right? So she cuts it. The baby is 6-day-old baby is still alive. So this Mayavati then takes a baby out and says, poor baby who's there. So I'm going to take care of that baby. And then she takes care of that baby as if it is her own child. Time passes. At one point, Narada comes. And because Narada is the one who knows what happens in your previous birth, why you are here in this birth, all of those connections. We don't remember what has happened, right? So when we meet people, we don't know the connections, right? Narada knows the connection. So she comes and tells this Mayavati that in your previous birth, you were Rati, the wife of Kamadeva. When Kamadeva got burned because of Shiva's third eye getting opening, because he tried to disturb the penance of Shiva, Kamadeva lost his body. And then when you, Rati, went and asked Shiva, then Shiva said, in Dwapara Yuga, you both are going to be reborn. You are going to be born as this Mayavati, and your husband Kamadeva is going to be born as the son of Krishna and Rukmini as Pradyumna. The same baby who you are taking care of was your husband in your previous birth. And you both are destined to meet right now. And then get married and then eventually go back to where you came from. Right? But this Yuga has to pass. So Narada comes and tells her that. So now she gets attached because it's her ex-husband or a soulmate, right? So she then takes care of. Now they have to escape from there. And this person who's there, this Shambara, not in Bhana's house, in Shambara's house, this person Shambara, the demon who killed, who abducted him and all, to get rid of him is very hard. But this Mayavati knows the tricks of the trade. So she teaches Pradyumna how to get rid of the Shambara, and Pradyumna and Shambara battle it out, and Shambara is gotten rid of. Now, Mayavati is very popular. The name itself is Mayavati, right? So she could actually travel by air. So she takes Pradyumna, who's now grown, right? And they both travel by air and they come to Dwaraka. When they come to Dwaraka, this Pradyumna looks exactly like Krishna, right? And people are like looking and saying, how is Krishna coming here? Krishna is inside the house, but how is another Krishna coming from outside? He looks exactly like Krishna. So now when they all come and Rukmini is also there, there's a confusion, right? How is somebody exactly like Krishna coming from somewhere else? So there's that confusion that is happening. Again, Narada comes and he explains the story, saying, you remember the baby you lost who was 6 days old? There is this baby who has now come back. And he tells, okay, this is Kamadeva who's reborn, this is Mayavati who's Rati reborn, and they are, Pradyumna is your child, and they both have to get married. So that gets taken care of. So that is one story which is completely mentioned here, saying that he's, that particular Asura named Sambara kidnaps, and then you return to Dwaraka with that Rati, right? Because you are that incarnation.
Would you mind telling that the 6 days adu ennadu? Pradyumna, the previous, he was the father. Ennadu? What is this?
No. Pradyumna, when he was 6 days old, he's abducted by a demon called Sambara.
Okay.
So, and then he's put in.
You said something about like he was in the previous birth, he was the father.
No, he was not the father. He was, the Kamadeva. So, Kamadeva goes to disturb Shiva. And then Shiva opens his third eye and he burns Kamadeva off.
Right.
So the Kamadeva has lost his body.
Okay.
So because he tries to disturb Shiva, you get downgraded, right, to some extent, from that time, right? So that he is then born as this Pradyumna.
Oh.
Okay, that is this story. Now this Pradyumna also has a second, he also goes and marries Rukmati, who is the daughter of Rukmi. You remember Rukmini's brother Rukmi? So he has a daughter Rukmavati. So Pradyumna also marries Rukmavati. And to that, both of them is then born a child called Aniruddha. So that is the Aniruddha is a grandson of Krishna. So this story is already now going from Krishna to Pradyumna. It is already gone down to Aniruddha. Okay. So now Aniruddha is also born.
But in Ashtotram we say Aniruddhaya Namaha.
Because they are all.
Krishna's name adilya.
Yeah, Aniruddha is Krishna's grandson.
Grandson. Okay.
Yeah, but Krishna, Pradyumna, Aniruddha are all partial incarnations of Krishna as well to some extent. There's partial energy of Krishna, because even in Bhagavatam, when they worship Krishna, they say, you who's in the full energy as Krishna, full potency as Krishna, you also have some of your potency in Aniruddha, and you also have some of your potency in Pradyumna. So you can't separate them out. They all are different names or incarnations of Krishna as well. Right? It's a little complicated. He's Kamadeva reborn, but at the same time, he's also one of the partial incarnations of Krishna in this birth. Okay, so they are also considered equal in the sense name-wise, right? It's part of the Sahasranamam also.
Okay, yeah. Aniruddha.
Okay, so we'll just switch since we're at 7:55. Yeah, Shashi Rekha, you can be a student, and Sita Garu, you can be a student. Pradyumno Raukmineyaha, sa khalu tava kala shambare nahritastam, hatva ratya sahapto nija puram aharad rukmi kanyam cha dhanyam. So the second line is continuous. Pradyumno raukmineyaha sakhalu tavakala shambarena hritastam hatva ratya sahapto nijapura maharat rukmi kanyam cha dhanyam.
Pradyumno raukmineyaha sakhalu tavakala shambarena hritastam hatva ratya sahabto nijapura maharad rukmi kanyam cha dhanyam. Pradyumno raukmineyaha sakhalu tavakala shambarena hritastam hatva ratya sahabto nijapura maharad rukmi kanyam cha dhanyam.
And the Raukmineyaha and the word.
Raukmineyaha. Okay.
Raukmineyaha.
Ne. Okay. Cherry. Thank you.
Pradyumno Raukmineyaha sakhalu tava kala shambarena hritastam hatva ratya sahapto rijapura maharad rukmi kanyam shadanyam. Pradyumno Raukmineyaha sakhalu tava kala shambarena hritastam hatva ratya sahapto rijapura maharad rukmi kanyam shadanyam.
Tat putro tani ruddho. Okay, so tat putro atha aniruddho, but that S symbol is coming. So we'll say the whole word together. Tat putro thaniruddho, comma, guna nidhir abahad, or you can say guna nidhi rabahad together also. Guna nidhi rabahad, rochanam rukmi pautrim, comma, tatrodvahe gatastvam nyavadi musalina, comma, rukmyapi dhyuta vairat. Actually, there's another thing I forgot to say there. So Pradyumna marries the daughter of Rukmi, right? Now, Aniruddha then marries the granddaughter. Rukmi has another more children, right? So his another granddaughter, this Aniruddha marries. So essentially, Rukmi and Rukmini are siblings. Their two children marry each other. Their two grandchildren marry each other. Okay. So Aniruddha is also married to this person called Rochana, who is the Rukmi Pautri, who is the granddaughter of Rukmi. So in that marriage, if you remember when Krishna takes Rukmini, Rukmi comes to stop them, and then they don't get rid of Rukmi, right? Because Rukmini says it's my marriage day, don't get rid of Rukmi, right? That Rukmi is gotten rid of by Balarama during the marriage of Aniruddha and Rochana. Because on that marriage event, there is a gambling, there is a dice game that happens, and then all these things, whenever that happens, it always results in a fight, right? So there's a fight that happens. Eventually, Rukmi is gotten rid of, right? So that's why in the first time, Krishna doesn't get rid of Rukmi because his daughter has to marry Pradyumna, his granddaughter has to marry Aniruddha. If Rukmi is gotten rid of, these things won't happen, right? So that's why he had to live, right? And eventually he was then gotten rid of. Tatputro taniruddho gunanidhiravahad rochanam rukmi pautrim tatrodvahe gatastvam nyavadi musalina rukmyapi dhyuta vairat.
Tatputro dhaniruddho gunanidhiravahad rochanam rukmipautrim tatrodvahe gatastvam nyavadhi musalina rukmiyapi द्युतवैरात् तत्पुत्रो धानिरुद्धो गुणनिधिरवहत् रोचनां रुक्मिपौत्रीं तत्रोद्वाहे गतस्त्वं न्यवधिमुसलिना रुक्मियपि द्युतवैरात्
तत्पुत्रोऽधानिरुद्धो गुणनिधिरवहत् रोचनां रुक्मिपौत्रीं तत्रोद्वाहे गतस्वं न्यवधिमुसलिना रुक्म्यपि द्यूतवैरात् तत्पुत्रोऽधानिरुद्धो गुणनिधिरवहत् रोचनां रुक्मिपौत्रीं तत्रोद्वाहे गतस्वं न्यवधिमुसलिना रुक्म्यपि द्यूतवैरात्.
Stanza 2. बाणस्य साबलिसुतस्य सहस्रबाहोः माहेश्वरस्य महिता दुहिता किलोषा त्वत्पौत्रमेनमनिरुद्धमदृष्टपूर्वं स्वप्नेऽनुभूय भगवन् विरहातुराभूत्. So one of the sons of Mahabali, who came the Vamana avataram, he had 1,000 sons. One of the sons is a person called Bana. Now, all these characters, we cannot think of them in earth terms, right? Because none of what we are going to hear or see is even practical in today's world, right? Because Vamana avataram happened long time back. So that son of Mahabali, Bana, is now there, right? So some of these things I don't even know how it can be explained, right? Because these people live they are probably in a completely different world for all we know. So this Bana, he has Sahasra Bahu, he has thousands of arms, like we saw in Parashuram Avataram also, right? Kartavirya Arjuna, he had 1,000 arms. They all were great Shiva devotees. So this Bana also is such a huge devotee of Shiva that once when Shiva was dancing, this Bana played music to Shiva. So Shiva was like so impressed with this Bana. And Shiva came and asked Bana, what do you need? Right? So Bana says, I want you to be the guard of my kingdom. Right? So nobody can attack me because Shiva is the gatekeeper of the kingdom. Right? So Shiva is like, okay, if that's what my devotee wants, that's the boon you're asking for, right? So this Bana becomes extremely powerful, Banasura, and to the extent that Shiva is guarding his kingdom. Now, this Bana has a daughter called Usha. This Usha, one day, they all have access to Kailasham. That's why I said do not think of them as people who reside on earth. So they have access to Kailash. So one day this Usha sees Shiva and Parvati together. So she also feels, you know what, I also have to get married. I need somebody who's like Shiva, right? Who's like a husband who takes good care of me. So Parvati says, don't worry. On a particular day, she tells 12th day or something like that. She says, you will get that person in your dream whom you're going to marry. So this Usha in her dream, she gets an image of a person. So immediately she wakes up from the dream, right? Because she wants to retain that image, and then she starts talking in her sleep or whatever. So her close friend Chitralekha, who's there, I think that probably comes in the second stanza. Okay, I'll tell you at that point when it comes. Anyway, she gets the dream of the particular person in her mind. So Banasya sa Bali Sutasya Sahasra Bahoho. Put a visarga comma Bahoho. Next line on top of the ma, if you have a ir, that will go away. Maheshwarasya mahita duhita kilosha. Tvat pautram enam aniruddham. I'm breaking it into 5 parts for those who want. Tvat pautram enam aniruddham adrishta purvam, comma, swapnenu bhuya bhagavan virahaturabhut. बाणस्य साबलिसुतस्य सहस्रबाहोः माहेश्वरस्य महिता दुहिता किलोषा त्वत्पौत्रमेनमनिरुद्धमदृष्टपूर्वं स्वप्नेऽनुभूय भगवन् विरहातुराभूत्.
बाणस्य साबलिसुतस्य सहस्रबाहोः माहेश्वरस्य महिता दुहिता किलोषा त्वत्पौत्रमेनमनिरुद्धमदृष्टपूर्वं स्वप्नेऽनुभूय भगवन् विरहातुराभूत्. बाणस्य साबलिसुतस्य सहस्रबाहोः माहेश्वरस्य महिता दुहिता किलोषा त्वत्पौत्रमेनमनिरुद्धमदृष्टपूर्वं स्वप्नेऽनुभूय भगवन् विरहातुराभूत्.
बाणस्य सा बलिसुतस्य सहस्रबाहोः माहेश्वरस्य महिता दुहिता किलोषा त्वत्पौत्रमेनमनिरुद्धमदृष्टपूर्वं स्वप्नेऽनुभूय भगवन् विरहातुराभूत्. बाणस्य सा बलिसुतस्य सहस्रबाहोः माहेश्वरस्य महिता दुहिता किलोषा त्वत्पौत्रमेनमनिरुद्धमदृष्टपूर्वं स्वप्नेऽनुभूय भगवन् विरहातुराभूत्.
That's the thing. योगिन्यतीव कुशला खलु चित्रलेखा तस्या सखी विलिखति तरुणानशेषान् तत्रानिरुद्धमुषया विदितं निशायामानेष्टयोगबलतो भवतो निकेतात्. So this Usha suddenly gets up in the middle of the night and saying, where are you? Where are you? Because she was so much in love with this one person she sees in her dreams. So her friend, close friend Chitralekha, the name itself says Chitra, means one who can paint really well, right? So she goes and tells this person, I saw this person who was like dark blue or black in complexion, very beautiful black eyes, and very strong, and I really want to know who that is. So this Chitralekha starts drawing based on the whatever characteristics that Usha is telling. So she first, because she thinks, this Usha is a Bana's daughter, right? So she can't be thinking of anybody who's like a low, he has to be a person of high stature. So she starts drawing all the famous Gandharvas, Yakshas, all of these other demigods, right? She starts painting them based on the description. She says, no, everybody she rejects. And then she comes down and then she says, okay, she starts painting like a painting of Krishna. So she says, yeah, kind of resembling. And then she draws Pradyumna. When she draws Pradyumna, then Usha feels like very close but younger, right? And then she comes and draws the picture of Aniruddha. When she draws the picture of Aniruddha, then Usha gets very shy. She says, yeah, this is exactly the guy. Because Aniruddha, Pradyumna, Krishna, they kind of have similar body features, right? But of course, Aniruddha is a younger one. So, when she draws Aniruddha, Usha says, yes, this is the guy. So then Chitralekha is able to locate where Aniruddha is in Dwaraka. And overnight, it says Yoga Bhalato. That's why I said this is all, they're all probably some level in some other Gandharva planets, right? They're going and they abduct Aniruddha out of Dwaraka. because Usha wants him. And then they go and bring it, and Chitralekha, she comes and brings it to Usha and says, here, you asked for Aniruddha, here is the guy who you dreamt, right? And so Aniruddha now comes to her residence, right, in her quarters. Yogin yativa kushala khalu Chitralekha, comma, tasyaha, put is, tasya sakhi vilikhati tarunanasheshan tatraniruddham ushaya viditam nishaya, you might have it, put a im at the end of that line and put a plus. So nishayam means overnight. So nishayam, comma, plus, sorry. Next word maneshta becomes aneshta. Aneshta yoga balato bhavato niketat. योगिन्यतीव कुशला खलु चित्रलेखा तस्या सखी विलिखति तरुणानशेषान् तत्रानिरुद्धमुषया विदितं निशायाम् आनेष्टयोगबलतो भवतो निकेतात्.
योगिन्यतीव कुशला खलु चित्रलेखा तस्या सखी विलिखति तरुणानशेषान् तत्रानिरुद्धमुषया विदितं निशायामानेष्टयोगबलतो भवतो निकेतात्. योगिन्यतीव कुशला खलु चित्रलेखा तस्या सखी विलिखति तरुणानशेषान् तत्रानिरुद्धमुषया विदितं निशायाम् आनेष्टयोगबलतो भवतो निकेतात्.
योगिन्यतीव कुशला खलु चित्रलेखा तस्या सखी विलिखति तरुणानशेषान् तत्रानिरुद्धमुषया विदितं निशायामानेष्टयोगबलतो भवतो निकेतात्. योगिन्यतीव कुशला खलु चित्रलेखा तस्या सखी विलिखति तरुणानशेषान् तत्रानिरुद्धमुषया विदितं निशायामानेष्टयोगबलतो भवतो निकेतात्.
कन्यापुरे दयितया सुकमारमन्तं चैनं कथञ्चन भवन्धुषि शर्वबन्धौ श्रीनारदोक्ततदुदन्तधुरन्तरोषैः त्वं तस्य शोणितपुरं यदुभिर्न्यरुन्धाः. So this Aniruddha, he comes to the quarters of Usha, ladies' quarters, right? Because she's a daughter, she's a princess. And then he remains there, right? And he remains there for several days, right? They both fall in love. Usha and Aniruddha fall in love. Nobody knows except Usha and this Chitralekha, who is her close companion. Over a period of time, the other maid servants who are there, they start seeing a change in Usha's behavior. Like she's in love, right? So she starts exhibiting different characteristics. So she goes and tells Bana something is wrong, right? Your daughter Usha is behaving very weird. So this Bana comes and then he finds Aniruddha in her quarters. So he gets very upset, right? And then then he arrests Aniruddha. And Aniruddha cannot fight Bana because Bana is extremely strong, right? Like we said, Sahasra Bahoho, he has Shiva's protection. Aniruddha cannot do anything to him. So he's arrested by Bana. So at that time, of course, Krishna knows everything, but Krishna doesn't take action, right? Till somebody comes and tells. So at the time, Narada goes and informs Pradyumna and everybody saying, your son Aniruddha, who has been missing, Bana has held him hostage. So you all have to go. So Krishna, Pradyumna, all of these people decide to go to fight Bana right now. Kanyapure Daitaya Sukhamaramantam, Chainam Kathanchana Babandhushi Sharva Bandhau Shri Naradhokta Tadudanta Duranta Roshaihi. So put a Visarga comma, Roshaihi. Next line is will go away. Tvam Tasya Shonitapuram Yadubhir Nyarundaha. Kanyapure Daitaya Sukhamaramantam Chainam Kathanchana Babandhushi Sharva Bandhau Shri Naradokta Tadudanta Duranta Roshaihi Tvam Tasya Shonitapuram Yadubhir Nyarundhaha.
कन्यापुरे दयितया सुखमारमन्तं चैनं कथञ्चन बबन्धुषि सर्वबन्धौ श्रीनारदोक्ततदुदन्ततुरन्तरोषैः त्वं तस्य शोणितपुरं यदुभिर्न्यरुन्धाः कन्यापुरे दयितया सुखमारमन्तं चैनं कथञ्चन बबन्धुषि सर्वबन्धौ श्रीनारदोक्ततदुदन्ततुरन्तरोषैः त्वं तस्य शोणितपुरं यदुभिर्न्यरुन्धाः
कन्यापुरे दयितया सुखमारमन्तं शयनं कदञ्चन बपुदुंषि शर्वबन्धौ श्रीनारदोक्ततदुदन्तदुरन्तरोषैः त्वं तस्य शोणितपुरं यदिभिर्यरुन्धाः कन्यापुरे दयितया सुखमारमन्तं शयनं कदञ्चन बबंधुषि शर्वबन्धौ श्रीनारदोक्ततदुदन्तदुरन्तरोषैः त्वं तस्य शोणितपुरं यदुभिर्न्यरुन्धाः.
I'll say 5, 6, 7 meaning together because that's a battle that happens. So Puri Palash Shaila Priya Duhitru Natosya Bhagavan, comma, Samam Bhuta Bratair Yadu Balam Ashankam, if you want to break it, Balam Ashankam Nirurudhe Mahaprano Bano Jhatiti Yuyudhanena Yuyudhe, comma, Guhaha, put a F to join, Guhaf Pradyumnena Tuamapi Purahantra Jagatishe. The tune changes. So like the first stanza was one tune, second, third, and fourth, fourth were one tune. Fifth, the tune changes here. It's like a 4-liner tune, I think. Puri Pala Shaila Priya Duhitrunatosya Bhagavan Samam Bhuta Brateir Yadubalamashankam Nirurudhe Mahaprano Bano Jhatiti Yudhanena Yuyudhe Guha Pradyumnena Twamapi Purahantra Jagatishe.
पुरीपालशैलप्रियदुहितृनाथोऽस्य भगवान् समं भूतव्रातैर्यदुबलमशङ्कं निरुरुधे महाप्राणो बाणो झटिति युयुधानेन युयुधे गुहः प्रद्युम्नेन त्वमपि पुरहन्त्रा जगति जघटिषे. It's tishe, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
correct.
Okay. पुरीपालशैलप्रियदुहितृनाथोऽस्य भगवान् समं भूतव्रातैर्यदुबलमशङ्कं निरुरुधे महाप्राणो बाणो झटिति युधानेन युधे गुहः प्रद्युम्नेन त्वमपि पुरहन्त्रा जगटिषे.
पुरीपालशैलप्रियदुहितृनाथोऽस्य भगवान् समं भूताव्रतैर्यदुबलमशङ्कं निरुरुधे महाप्राणो बाणो झटिति युयुधानेन युयुधे गुहप्रद्युम्नेन त्वमपि पुरहन्त्रा जगटिषे.
That second line,
Huh?
Bhuta Bratair.
Okay, thank you. Sorry. Bhutavratai. Okay. पुरीपालशैलप्रियदुहितृनाथोऽस्य भगवान् समं भूतव्रातैर्यदुबलमशङ्कं निरुरुधे महाप्राणो बाणो झटिति युयुधानेन युयुधे गुहप्रद्युम्नेन त्वमपि पुरहन्त्रा जगटिषे.
Niruddha Sheshastre, double dha there. Niruddha Sheshastre Mumuhushi Tavastrena Girishe, comma, Druta Bhuta Bhitaha, put a F, Bhita Pramatha Kula Viraha, put a F again, Viraf Pramatitaha Paraskandat Skandaha, put a ih to join Skandah Kusuma Shara Banaischa Sachivaha, comma. Again, each of these lines are continuous, no pause in between. Sakum Bhando Bhandam Navamiva Balenashu Bhibide. निरुद्धाशेषास्त्रे मुमुहुषितवास्त्रेण गिरिशे द्रुता भूता भीताः प्रमतकुलवीराः प्रमथिताः परास्कन्दत्स्कन्दः कुसुमशरबाणैश्च सचिवः सकुम्भाण्डो भाण्डं नवमिव बलेनाशुभिभिदे
निरुद्धाशेषास्त्रे मुमुहुषितवास्त्रेण गिरिशे द्रुता भूता भीताः प्रमथकुलवीराः प्रमथिताः
परास्कन्दत्स्कन्दः
okay, I'm missing a okay, 1 second. Okay. परास्कन्दत्स्कन्दः कुसुमशरबाणैश्च सचिवः सकुम्भाण्डो भाण्डं नवमिव बले नाशुबिभिदे निरुद्धाशेषास्त्रे मुमुहुषितवास्त्रेण गिरिशे द्रुता भूता भीताः प्रमथकुलवीराः प्रमथिताः परास्कन्दत्स्कन्दः कुसुमशरबाणैश्च सचिवः सकुम्भाण्डो भाण्डं नवमिव बलेनाशुबिभिदे
निरुद्धाशेषास्त्रे मुमुहुषितवास्त्रेण गिरिशे धृता भूता भीताः प्रमदकुलवीराः प्रमदिताः परास्कन्दः कुसुमशरबाणैश्च सचिवः सकुम्भाण्डो भाण्डं नवमिव बलेनाशुबिभिदे निरुद्धाशेषास्त्रे मुमुहुषितवास्त्रेण गिरिशे द्रुता भूता भीताः प्रमदकुलवीराः प्रमथिताः परास्कन्दः कुसुमशरबाणैश्च सचिवः सकुम्भाण्डो भाण्डं नवमिव बलेनाशुबिभिदे
That's a 7. चापानां पञ्चशत्या प्रसभमुपगते छिन्नचापेतभाने व्यर्थे याते समेतो ज्वरपतिरजनैरज्वरित्वज्वरेण ज्ञानी स्तुत्वा तदत्वा तव चरितजुषां विज्वरं सज्वरोगात् प्रायोऽन्तर्ज्ञानवन्तोऽपि च बहुतमसा रौद्रचेष्टा हि रौद्राः. I'm going to say the meaning of 5, 6, and 7. So, the Yadavas, Krishna, Pradyumna, Aniruddha is anyway arrested, right? So they all go to fight Bana. Like I said, it's happening somewhere else, right? So first there's armies, they all start fighting, and then the armies first start fighting. Then of course, everybody is here. It says Para Skandaha. See Skanda, Kartikeya, right? He's also there because he's also part of the Shiva's team. I don't want to separate out teams here, but I'm just saying what is here, right? So Shiva, Skanda, all of them are on one side. On the other side, you have, Krishna and Pradyumna and all of the other things. And Balarama, right? Balarama then gets rid of Bana's minister. And this big battle is happening, right? And this goes on for a long time. This battle is happening. Then Bana is coming with all his weapons. So Krishna then very quickly is able to get rid of all of the weapons. So he rushes away. So, but remember who is protecting Bana, right? Shiva is the one who's protecting Bana, right? So Shiva, they sense out something called as a Shiva Jwara. A Shiva Jwara is like, think of it as, like you say, Brahmastra, Vaishnava, Vishnu Astram, Narayana Astra, all these astrams are there, right? Something called as a Shiva Jwara, which has a shape, which has like a shape of person, like it's got 3 heads, 3 feet, some very weird, some unique shape, right? And that is extremely hot. And what that means is it burns everything which comes on its way. So that Shiva Jwara is coming to battle. When that Shiva Jwara is coming, Shiva himself, Shiva and Narayana, they don't fight with each other, right? So that's not going to happen. The Shiva Jwara is coming to fight. So at the same time, this Vishnu Jwara is coming, which is the extreme opposite, which is the opposite of heat, which is extreme cold. So that extreme cold that the Vishnu Jwara is coming. And they both battle it out. At that time, they both come to the realization. So the Shiva Jwara realizes that I should not be going and fighting against Vishnu. And so it surrenders to Vishnu and says, I don't want to fight, right? So what should I be doing here? So Vishnu says, yeah, let's not fight, right? There's no use fighting here. And then, there's a conversation that happens between that Shiva Jwara and Krishna and the Vishnu Jwara. There's a conversation that happens. Eventually, what Krishna says is, whoever thinks about this battle that was supposed to happen, but the battle did not happen, who thinks about this battle and remembers me will not be affected by heat, will not be affected, because Jwara means fever, right? And the Shiva Jwara means a hot fever. And then the Vishnu Jwara is the cold fever, something which is very cold. But the Jwara word could mean fever, but it is also referring to a person, like a creature, right? So anyway, so that battle is actually happening, and then the battle does not happen, and that Shiva Jwara then resigns, and then Krishna says, I'm blessing you, so that anybody who thinks about this battle that is happening here and thinks about how you think what is important will not be affected by Shiva Jwara anymore, right? And that's how that is coming to an end. So then the actual battle with Bana is going to happen in the 8th stanza. So Chapanam Panchashatya, comma, Prasabham Upagate Chinna Chapeta Bane, comma, Vyarte Yate Sameto, comma, Jwarapatir Asha. I'm going to break that into 3 words if you want to. Jwarapatir Ashanair Ajwari Twajjarena. Jwarena. Chapanam Panchashatya Prasabhamupagate Chinna Chapeta Bhane Vyarte Yate Sameto Jwarapatir Ashanaira Jwaritva Jwarena.
Chapanam Panchashatya Prasabhamupagate Chinna Chapeta Bane Vyarte Yate Sameto Jwarapatirashanairajwaritva Jwarena. Chapanam Panchashatya Prasabhamupagate Chinna Chapeta Bane Vyarte Yate Sameto Jwarapatirashanairajwaritva Jwarena.
Chapanam Panchashatya Prasabhamupagate Chinna Chapeta Bane Yadheyate Sameto Jwarapatirashanairajwaritva Jwarena. Chapanam Panchasatya Prasabhamupagate Chinna Chapeta Bane Yadheyate Sameto Jwarapatirashanairajwaritva Jwarena.
Jnani Stutvat Dattva, comma, Tava Charita Jusham Bijwaram Sa Jwarogat, comma, Prayontar Jnana Vanto Picha, comma, Bahu Tamasa Raudra Cheshta Hi Raudraha. Jnani Stutvat Dattva Tava Charita Jusham Bijwaram Sa Jwarogat प्रायोऽन्तर्ज्ञानवन्तोऽपि च बहुतमसा रौद्रचेष्टा हि रौद्राः.
ज्ञानी स्तुत्वाथ दत्त्वा तव चरितजुषां विज्वरं सज्वरोगात् प्रायोऽन्तर्ज्ञानवन्तोऽपि च बहुतमसा रौद्रचेष्टा हि रौद्राः. ज्ञानी स्तुत्वाथ दत्त्वा तव चरितजुषां विज्वरं सज्वरोगात् प्रायोऽन्तर्ज्ञानवन्तोऽपि च बहुतमसा रौद्रचेष्टा हि रौद्राः.
ज्ञानी सुत्वा तदत्वा तव चरितजुषां विज्वरं सज्वरोगात् प्रायोऽन्तर्ज्ञानवन्तोऽपि च बहुतमसा रौद्रचेष्टा हि रौद्राः. ज्ञानी सुत्वा तदत्वा तव चरितजुषां विज्वरं सज्वरोगात् प्रायोऽन्तर्ज्ञानवन्तोऽपि च बहुतमसा रौद्रचेष्टा हि रौद्राः.
We'll stop here today. Shri Krishnaya Parabrahmane Namaha. Chandranandhavabodhatmakamanupamitam kaladeshavadibhyam nirmuktam nityamuktam nigamashatasahasrena nirbhasyamanam aspashtam drishtamhatre पुनरुरुपुरुषार्थात्मकं ब्रह्मतत्त्वं तत्तावद्भाति साक्षात् गुरुपवनपुरे हन्त भाग्यं जनानां कायेन वाचा मनसेन्द्रियैर्वा बुद्ध्यात्मना वा प्रकृते स्वभावात् करोमि यद्यत् सकलं परस्मै नारायणायेति समर्पयामि. Thank you everyone.
For the
Thank you,
opportunity
Rajesh.
today.
Thank you,
Because,
Rajesh.
today is the wedding
Thank you.
anniversary and then our wedding anniversary today.
Oh, congratulations.
Anniversary.
It was very good to chant. Iniki.
Yeah. You chanted the Swayamvaram. You know, a lot of marriages of Krishna today.
Yes. Yeah. That.
Happy anniversary.
Happy
Happy
anniversary.
Best wishes.
Bye everyone.
Bye.
Shivaya.